Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, boxing. Now, wild stuff, man. Former IBF, WBA, WBO Unified Champion Anthony Joshua, man, was recently defeated by, shockingly, Alexander Usyk, man. A guy coming up from a smaller weight class, the cruiserweight division. Now, he came up as the big dog. He came up as the undisputed champion, as the king of the division beneath him, which was the, first was cruiserweight division, then it's the heavyweight division. So that being said, he came up as the man, the big dog. But people gave him little to no chance to beat Anthony Joshua, and people thought that, a lot of people, listen, in my opinion, people were saying that in hindsight, why was Anthony Joshua trying to outbox Alexander Usyk? You cannot outbox Alexander Usyk. But at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua looks up to fighters like Vladimir Klitschko. He was saying that he wants to be a Vladimir Klitschko type fighter. That's why he was a thinking man type fighter. He was a slow jab, straight right, left hook kind of guy, and he was catering a style to that style. So when Anthony Joshua finally ran to Alexander Usyk, he thought he could actually outbox the guy. Little did he know, Alexander Usyk's an elusive, fast twitch fighter. Too fast for Anthony Joshua, was able to land first, was able to just do what he wanted to do with Anthony Joshua. All that being said, man, Anthony Joshua decided to, his trainer, fire that guy. He said that, you're just not doing your job. Alexander Usyk has way too much in this fight, and for that being said, I'm gonna give you a trainer. So he's been in America, man. He's been seen with Robert Garcia. I've seen him with Jamal Charlo's trainer. Jamal Charlo's trainer. I've seen him just about everywhere, man. Basically, trainer shopping in America. Me personally, man, I think this is a great idea for Anthony Joshua. He should have been got a trainer, because I think it just comes to a point where you're just going through the motions and everything's too structured to the point where it's more routine than you learning something. And boxing, you need to be always evolving. You can't just be stagnant in the sport of boxing. You gotta be learning at all times. And Anthony Joshua, I think the best fighter, at least for Alexander Usyk, the best trainer I meant, is Derek James. Who's Derek James? Well, Derek James trains the best southpaw in boxing outside of Alexander Usyk, and that's Errol the Truth Spence. I think Derek James is not only the best southpaw trainer in boxing, I think he's just the best trainer, period, because he has a lot of world champions under his belt. There's a lot of fighters who are great fighters, but are their trainers that good, or are their fighters that good? Understand that when you have multiple world champions in your stable, it legitimizes the trainer. And Derek James, like I said earlier, Jamal Charlo could have been undisputed when he fought Castano. He could have won that title. Right now, Jamal Charlo has 3 to 4 titles, and Errol Spence Jr. has the IBF title and he has 2 titles. He has 2 titles at 147, right? So that being said, man, the best southpaw trainer should train Anthony Joshua, because he would know what to look out for, right? He trains the best southpaw, Alexander Usyk southpaw, so he would know the fine nuances and how to beat a southpaw, right? I think him training with Derek James is the best route to go, because everyone else, they can give you a theory on how to beat a southpaw trainer, but they're not actually training any elite level southpaw trainers. So, that being said, Errol Spence Jr. is definitely the most elite southpaw fighter in boxing, in my opinion. I'd even put him above Alexander Usyk, just the fact that, after the car accident, after him almost dying in a car accident, what did he do? He decided to fight the best in his division in fighting Danny Garcia. He doesn't duck or dodge nobody. He fought everyone, even when he was almost, seemingly flew out of his car. Car did like 80 flips. And what does he do right after that accident? He fights the best in the world. You guys have to give the guy a big cojones credits for that. Alexander Usyk, while a phenomenal fighter, let's see him almost get killed and decide to fight the biggest monster in the division at the same time. Errol Spence is not really down for tune-up fights. That's not part of his vocabulary. he said it himself that he's not ready for tune-ups. He don't do tune-ups. So that all being said, man, Derrick James would be a great fit for Anthony Joshua, man, in training southpaw. Not only that, Anthony Joshua is an athlete, right? An athlete. Now that being said, so is Errol Spence Jr. I think there's practicality in boxing as far as training goes, to actually train muscles that actually work in the ring. And Errol Spence Jr. is one of the more athletically in shape fighters in boxing. Anthony Joshua could use that. Instead of just being bulky for no reason, he can actually use that athleticism for boxing by training with Errol Spence's strength and conditioning coach. Because understand that, you know, whatever Anthony Joshua does in the UK, when he's if he trains with a new trainer in America, he can't be doing that old training stuff in the UK. He's most likely going to be following the whole camp of whatever Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo does. That being said, it's going to be a power camp with Errol Spence Jr. and his strength and conditioning coach. Now, I forgot the guy's name. I think they call him like, God, I can't think of the guy's name, but he's a really good strength and conditioning coach. And in fact, they actually, they parted ways for a little bit, and then they went, and now Errol Spence is back with him. But yeah, man, that'd be the best deal for Anthony Joshua. Train with someone who trains the fighter you're fighting, i.e. being a southpaw. So, that being said, man, we're going to see what Anthony Joshua does from here. I think that, you know, he's definitely one of the more exciting fighters in boxing. And, you know, these heavyweight fighters, this is what happens when you fight the best and you defend your title. You defend your titles. You know, eventually you're going to take an L. In boxing, people always swear that the big bad guy, you know, is the big bad guy until he loses to a mandatory or a voluntary. You know, Anthony Joshua did lose to Andy Ruiz. That was a voluntary defense. And Alexander Usyk was a mandatory defense. You know, these are fights that are supposed to be a given, already baked in a cake. You know, fights where it's supposed to be another day at work. But these fights turned out not that way. And there's a lot more boogeymen in the sport of boxing that, you know, that aren't talked about. The Luis King Kong Ortiz, the Jared Andersons, you know, those top big dog fighters. And now recently, the guy who just dethroned Efe Ajagba, Frank Sanchez. I think he's a top elite Cuban. I think he's the new boogeyman for Cubans in the heavyweight division. Since people want to talk about how old Luis King Kong Ortiz is, the next big dog naturally is my boy Frank Sanchez. So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, man. I'm really excited to see that Anthony Joshua really has the idea of coming to America. He's doing basically what Tyson Fury did, and he went to America and got Sugar Hill to be his trainer because Ben Davison was not getting the job done over there in the UK. You know, those UK trainers are just not good as American trainers, man. Let's just keep it a buck. There are a lot of reasons why a lot of these UK fighters are good. The remnants of them is because of Emmanuel Stewart. I understand. I think that the best European fighter in recent years have been Vladimir Klitschko. And who did he train with? He trained with Emmanuel Stewart, an American trainer. These are facts. So yeah, man, he's smart to do that. He should have did it. We were telling him a long time ago, hey man, your trainer's a bum when he lost to Andy Ruiz. I mean, there's times in that fight where this guy, Anthony Joshua, was losing the fight, and Anthony Joshua was literally getting hit, and his trainer's like, great job, good job, nice hit, Anthony Joshua, and he's getting hit in the face. This guy seems more like a cheerleader and a coach, as far as inspiration coach. You know, those guys who tell you nice speeches. That's about all this guy can do, really. Might be a great guy, but as far as boxing goes, you know, these trainers get a percentage of these guys' checks, man. I think it's like 10 or 15%. And when you're getting $20-30 million a check, you know, you're gonna be quiet, man. You're gonna say whatever you need to say to this guy. And that's what this guy's doing right now. I think he's doing more harm than good in Anthony Joshua's career. And Anthony Joshua needs to move the fuck on, because understand that Anthony Joshua is the boss. He's the boss, and it's his career. In the end of the day, that gets people fed. So if Anthony Joshua is not doing good, no one's doing good. Anthony Joshua needs to move on in his career and do his thing. So coming to America was the best thing, man. He made one trip, now he's coming back, and this is great news for Anthony Joshua. Derrick James is my guy for pick of trainer. Let me know who you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is The Empire. Geoboscom Empire. Peace.